Following through from position number 1 of the minor pentatonic scale, we're now looking at position 2. In this study, we're going to learn this scale shape. We're going to jam along with the backtrack, for example, something like this over here, with the same scale. We're going to learn some exercises that we can use inside the scale shape. Sit and see how the two, position 1 and position 2, relate to each other. And we're going to get better at lead guitar. Okay, now I'm going to focus in by starting on the actual scale itself. So let's get the guitar in position. And camera nice and zoomed in. And let's learn position number 2 as on your PDF file. Now, please make sure that you've got your file printed out in front of you. It's very, very important. And your first scale shape, diagram 3, position 2 in A minor, should look and sound like this. Starting at fret 8, and it's going to go fret numbers 8, 10, onto the next string, 7, 10, fourth string, 7, 10 again, 7, 9, and then watch this little jump forward to fret 8, 10 on the second string, and then 8, 10 again on the first. So let's take that through together slowly. We'll first do it ascending. Are you ready? A bit of a different angle there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the little jump. And if you were descending it, you'd start at 10 and you'd do something like this. Watch that with me. 2, 3, 4. Please make sure your pinky is working. You'll notice I've numbered my fingers, pinky being number 4. You'll notice he's being used the whole way through. And yes, we could have done this for the last 3 strings when he went to this place here. But I find fingers 2 and 4 are quite an awkward, unusual combination. And just because of the design or the layout of the notes, it makes more sense to go fingers 1, 3, and then 1, 3 again for the last 2 strings. So that movement is very, very tiny, and it keeps the sequence of the fingers nice and in sequence as well. Okay, now position 2, diagram 3 is in the key of C major. In other words, the notes inside the scale are the same as the notes in position 1 we learned in the previous video. If you're not sure of that, recap, watch the video. Okay, but let's just compare that quickly just to justify what I'm saying. If you go back to position 1 and I call out the notes I'm actually playing, the notes are A, C, D, E, G, A. If I go to the scale we're studying in this video, the notes are C, D, E, G, A, C. So even though the sequence of the notes are not the same, they both still contain exactly the same notes. In other words, these notes, A, C, D, E, G, A, remember that, are going to be found inside here. C, D, E, G, A, C. There we go. Okay, so that's come in the same key. They contain the same notes. Now, diagram number 4. I want us to remember that when we learn scales for guitar, we don't need to change the fingering sequence. That's why my fingers are twitching, to show that they're going to change sequence. When I go to fret number 15, for example, and I play the same position 2, in fact, if you look at the diagram 3 and 4, they both are exactly the same, aren't they? The only difference there is the fret numbers. And you'll see it says fret 3 and 5 and then 15 and 17. I'll explain 3 and 5 now, just hold off on that. But fret 15 and 17, same scale shape, same finger notation. Let's do that together. 2, 3, 4. And let's descend as well. Okay, so just one more recap. Every time we learn a new scale shape, all that happens is the position, in other words, where do we play it, changes depending on the key. We will debate keys and discuss it in other videos, but for now, Remember that the shape remains the same, it just comes at different places. Now, we mentioned the 3 and 5 and the 15 and 17 in diagram 4, right? Now, I'm hoping you guys know what an octave is, because this is quite important. You'll notice that by fret 12, your guitar's got a double dot. It should have a double dot, must have a double dot. Okay, if it doesn't, get a Koki, mark it. That's a very important fret, because everything that happens from fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, all the way up to 12 gets repeated from fret 13, 14, 15 and so on. So effectively, the open strings are the same as fret 12. Fret 12 is just an octave higher, and an octave means it's the same note, just higher in pitch. Another way of demonstrating that octave, if I take the major scale, just a normal C major, and I go do, re, mi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can hear that's an octave. Same concept, fret number 12. We got that. So it's the same note, just higher in pitch. Now, where that's important, fret 15 is actually the same as fret 3 because of that octave concept. So you can also learn to play it down here. I'm going to zoom in a bit now on the fretting hand. Frets are obviously a bit wider, and it's going to look and sound like this from fret 3. If you want to play through with on the count of 4, let's do it. 2, 3, 4. There's the move. Nice and quick. Okay. So let's just recap. What have we learned so far? We've learned position 1 in the first video, which looks and sounds like this. We've learned in this video position 2. We know that position 1 and position 2 have got the same notes, and the same way that they've got the same notes, if you go back to the first video, we played E minor pentatonic, which looks like this. And now we just learned diagram 4, which is the G position number 2. There's G. And those two scales would also have the same notes. It's very important because in the next video, video 3, we're going to see how to combine them and join them. Very useful for slides and other cool soloing techniques. Okay, so we've learned our scales. Now we're going to look at some exercises. Now we're going to take exercises we've already learned from the previous video and apply it to position 2. For example, exercise 3.1, where it says ascending triplets, okay, with diagram 3. It's going to look and sound something like this. I'm going to focus more on the fretting hand here than the picking hand, so I'm going to get a bit more into the foreground. And then you can see a little bit of the picking hand here. Notice the strokes are going to alternate. And if you can read the tab, which I'm sure you should be able to do, it should sound something like this. The first 3 blue notes, 8, 10, 7. Next 3 notes, the red notes, 10, 7, 10. And every group of 3 notes starts on the second note of the preceding 3 notes. So it's sort of like counting 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Or another way to visualize it, because I notice people like visualizing differently, is you can go up 3, come back 1, 1, 2, 3, come back 1. Exactly the same result. Now you'll notice with the picking as well as picking down up and down up the whole way through, very important, it's called alternate strokes. We'll look at economy picking at another time and explain why it has got its place, but not yet. Okay, let's do exercise 3-1 together. Are you ready? 3, 4. There you have it. And then descending it. You'll notice on the crossover here, very, very important, when you go from fret 3 to from string 3 to string 2, we moved. And to get that nice and smooth, we import the middle finger here. Check here. Check the middle finger. If you rewind the video, you'll see that. Jumped across, and when descending, middle finger in, jump back, and you're in position. Learn these scale shapes, they're really going to help. And these exercises not only get the fingers smarter, more in control, they also help you memorize the scale shape. And these are useful exercises for when you actually improvise, which will be on the second video that I'm sending you along with this one. The second video has got the jam track we used. Now, exercise 4.1, hammer-ons and pull-offs, triplets on position number 2. This is also similar to the exercise we did in the first video lesson, but this time we're going to pull off and hammer on with the new position we learned at the beginning of this video. It should sound like this. Nice pinky pull-offs. There you can see the pull-off. And just to make sure that you understand the concept of the pull-off in case you're jumping a video, you can see that I'm picking a note, and then the second note is a result of the pinky that I'm pointing at flicking off. One more time. So I'm flicking the pinky there. Let's get fingers 2 and 3 out the way, and then pick, and then the next 3 notes are hammer on, and you see the pinky hammers on to the next string. Okay, so let's just refocus back on the exercise, and if you want to take it through once with me, nice and slow. 3, 2 and 3 and 4 and obviously you want to reverse that as well. Now, exercise 4, every time I put a new video on, I'm going to add in a new exercise, so you don't think, well, okay, fine, every session's going to be the same exercises in a different position. I want to expand your exercise repertoire to get better and better doing different things. This one's in groups of 4. If you look at the blue and red grouping, you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do that again slowly, a bit closer as well, so you can see the fingers nice and clearly. 2, 3, 4. We got that. One more time, nice and slow. 2, 3, 4, and see if you can work that one out in reverse, and then drop me a video of you playing it, and I'll tell you if you got it right. Because part of this series as well is to encourage you to be able to work out your own exercises, to create riffs and licks and exercises that you like the sound of. So I'm not going to write down every single possible variation that there is of a scale or exercise. I'm going to encourage you to work out for yourself. So this one I just did. Okay, it didn't end as well as I like to have there. I want you to work out the reverse descending it for me and send it through to me in your own time. On the second video, we're going to look at a bit of a jam track, like I said. So we're going to put a bit of overdrive to say goodbye, and we're going to sit and jam along with this exercise just one more time to see what you can expect in video number 2 that will show you the chords as well. Overdrive is on, and let's focus in on the guitar there, and let's have some fun just to say cheers before we run out of time. Here we go. Actually combine positions 1 and 2, and that's just reinforcing what we mentioned earlier, that you can actually use both position 1 and position 2, provided you start on, first of all, the correct notes and you in the same key as the backtrack. But see you video number 2. Have an awesome day, get the exercises going, and let's play loud.